Happy June 1st, my friends. This is Laura from Stitching by the Shore, and I am here with a Flosstube extra video. I'm lopsided. Uh, that I'm going to talk about my June I Spy prompts, and I'm going to show you the projects I have picked for I Spy. I Spy, if you are new, is, and if you're new, welcome. This is not my regular weekly video updates. This is just a little extra that I do, that I've started doing. I Spy is a challenge that I created this past February, in which I pick 10 prompts and I say, find those somehow or other within your projects. Or maybe you are monogamous, and if you can find all 10 in one project, awesome. If you only do 2 or 3 out of the 10, awesome. The idea of this for me, I find I like challenges and prompts that are relaxed the best. I don't want you looking over my shoulder saying whether or not something works or doesn't work. My goal is to stitch and to get progress into my projects. And that's what these prompts are meant to do. So please don't stress about them. If you have one that doesn't work, skip over it. If you have one that you have to do mental gymnastics to make it connect to your project, go for it. My goal for you is just to have fun and to get some stitching done. So, and what you do for any sort of, like, what is it that you're trying to do? For me, for example, I say 200 stitches per prompt. You can make it whatever you want. It could be a number of hours. It could be a day of stitching, a week of stitching. It could be like, I want to get this motif done or this section of the project done. However you want to do it, it's really up to you. Again, fun. I need to stress the fact that this is supposed to be fun. And, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, no worries. You can always try next month. Now, I will list the prompts down below so that you don't have to sit there and try to write them down. They can also be found on my Facebook page, Stitching by the Shore, under the events section. Or if you go to my Flosstube, Stitching by the Shore, in my community tab, I do list them there. I want to make sure that whether you are part of, say, Facebook or not, you can join. This is open to every single person, however you want to join and whatever part you want to do. So I never want to limit you because of whatever reasons you can't find it or get to it somehow or other. You are invited on Facebook to create a post so you can show us before and afters. I love seeing those. I love seeing the projects people pick for the prompts. I am really bad at taking pictures, but you know, it's a goal. I'll just continue to try to improve myself. I think what I'm going to do is, before these all get put away, I'll take the before pictures. And so this way I have a better shot of getting it all filled out. I fill out my post every month, and then I'm a little sketchy on whether or not I fill it in, but you know, that's all right. We just give ourselves grace, right? Okay, so let's get started because we want to get stitching. The first prompt is something found in a picnic, and you will find this month that there's a good 3 prompts, maybe even 4, you could put all in one project. If you want to do that, fantastic, go for it. I chose 10 different just so that I'm touching at least 10 of my projects. You know I'll touch more than that, but you know, some of them I may not have touched if it wasn't for the fact that they're part of this. The first one, something found in a picnic, I picked out from the book Cross Stitch for the Earth. Of all of these 10 prompts, one of them will be a new start. The other 9, I can count. The other 9 are projects that I've already started. And you don't have to start anything new for this. If you want to, go for it. Maybe you've already got a planned start and it works. Even better. This is the pattern right here. Now, this book is Emma Congdon, Stitcherovia on Etsy. She doesn't have titles in these, so I just call it Difference You Make. And that's what the pattern will look like when it's finished. I'm changing up the fabric. I know you're surprised. If you've been here, you've seen me stitch this before. This is already started. And something found at a picnic. Oh, I should have pointed it out. I was looking at this pattern, and you can see at the very bottom, you've got a bumblebee. I feel like every time we go to picnics, there's always a bee flying around us. So I thought that was appropriate. Not that I go on lots of picnics, but just, you know, in the past. All right, here we go. This is where nothing is ironed this morning. I've just grabbed the projects. You know I do. I find ironing actually relaxing. Well, projects, not clothes. So that's generally why you will see my projects ironed when I do a regular video. But for something like this, I'm just pulling them all together. So it's what we get. We get what we get here. That's how far I've gotten with it. I mean, I'm clearly not going to stitch the bee, which is fine. You don't have to stitch the part of the pattern that relates to the prompt. This is a dying for cross stitch, if you're curious, 18 count, and it's called Fresh Cut Light. I love the green. I love how these colors, her colors are going to, you know, they pop so much. And I don't think there's any green necessarily on this, even though there's trees. So I think it's just going to be perfect how all these colors just jump off the fabric. So that's number one. That is something found at a picnic. Okay, next. Something that makes you grouchy. Did you know today, June 1st, is Oscar the Grouch Day? I didn't until I started looking what goes on in June. There's even, there's even a hashtag. I think it's hashtag Oscar the Grouch Day. So I might have to stitch on this one today, just in honor of Oscar the Grouch. I am a 70s child, so Sesame Street was very much on my morning kind of watching when I was a kid. The pattern I chose, and I'm going to try to keep finding prompts for this because I like the pattern, but I've struggled stitching it. Not enough to give it up, certainly where I am, but if I keep finding prompts, it'll work. And it is The Earth Laughs by Jan Hicks. Now, I'm not grouchy because of Jan Hicks' pattern at all. It's beautiful, and I'm loving how it's coming. I chose to do the Cosmo Floss, and I'm doing it one strand, and it just keeps fraying on me. Certain of the colors are worse than others, and so it always makes me grouchy. I make smaller and smaller lengths now because I'm doing this on 20 count. I am doing the one strand. I wanted it a little bit smaller because I had a different plan for this one originally, so I did want to make it. And that's fine now because originally I was going to put this on the cover of a scrapbook, but I don't like the idea of that in the end unless I was displaying the scrapbook somewhere, and I'd have to be careful. It'll go inside the 12 by 12 because it will at 20 count be just under 12 by 12. So that's where I'm starting the month at, and we will see what happens. I might spend some time bringing the border down so I can try to start getting that worked on. That's actually a really repetitive border that you can get into a groove. Well, if my floss wouldn't fray, I could really get into a groove because I could do it a long strand. But, you know, I'm not going to be grouchy about it this morning. Maybe when I'm stitching it later. Starts with the letter J. So this one, I was awake this morning at 5 a.m. and I was thinking about these prompts, and I was going through J words in my head, trying to figure out what I could do. So then I Googled when I was doing this, just to kind of give me some more ideas. And one of them that I didn't come up with is jar. And if you look at Tiny Modernist's Alice in Wonderland tree, there is a jar on the tree. So that's what I will use. Some other options: jacket, jaw, journey, jade, like a jade green, jet, like a jet engine, jewels, jam, joy. And then as I was saying this, blue jay, if you have like a blue jay. So there's some options there. Jardin privé, if you wanted to say that you saw the designer that starts with the letter J, or maybe it's a title or something. So there are some options. Hopefully some of those will help you. If you have a person on any of your patterns, people have jaws, so you'd be all set. So this is where mine is starting. Now there is actually a hashtag with this. It's hashtag TinyAliceSal. So we're just going to keep plugging along on this one. It's fun. I really liked the Wizard of Oz tree, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one. And this is, I'm not going to remember all the fabrics because I don't have them written down. Opal Blue Eyes from To Die 4 fabrics. It's 18 count. I don't remember most of them, except for Earth Laughs. All the others are probably 18 count. If I'm looking real quick at what I have here. Okay, the next one. Something that reminds you of your dad or a father figure, depending on who you have in your life. Or even if you say, and I'll show you with this one how this would work. Um, there could be something with like a father figure in the pattern. And let me show you this. So my dad lives in Florida. So anything summery, beachy, or whatever is going to remind me of my dad. But in this piece here too, you see like what looks like a father and son. I was going to say stitching, fishing. So that could also work for it as well in that sense. There's just the generalized father figure with it. This one could also work, obviously, for a later prompt regarding summer, but I thought this one worked well in that sense, so we went with it. And there's where I'm starting at. These kind of beach huts, bath huts, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of stitching on those. So we will see. I may outline this. I'm gonna eventually change the wording there to say Delaware, where I live, and I may kind of finagle what my 200 stitches are. So we'll see. You and I will have to see. This is 18 count, and I think it's Caramel Macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie. Almost sure on that one. Okay, next. This will be my only new start of the 10 projects. Not my only new start for June, but anything that goes with I Spy. That's the only new start. And this one is something found in a garden. So you could see picnic garden. You could do bees, butterflies, grass, trees, anything, flowers, and both of those as well. So again, if you wanted to, if you were struggling, or you have a project, just one project you want to work on this month, if you have those, you could hit several of the prompts. This one is a start that I'm starting tomorrow, and it's Wings of Change by Silver Creek Samplers. Oh, I had written down Cottage Garden. Whoops. For some reason in my mind, I always confuse those, even though they are, you know, they're different vibes, but sometimes not, I guess. Some of the things can be similar in my brain. That's probably why I have trouble with it. Plus, they're both Silver Creek Samplers and Cottage Garden Samplings. They kind of, in my brain, however I work, it sound alike. But anyway, so that's what I'm starting tomorrow, June 2nd. And I'll show you the fabric that I'm going to stitch it on. And this is a hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric. So there it is, and that's the pattern. So you can see the original is stitched on kind of a light, that's probably a gray, not a blue, but I'm going a little bit brighter with the blue and have things pop a little bit more. And I'm doing the DMCs except for the inside of the butterfly. I am going to do a variegated floss. And when I get to that point, I'll show you. It's one of my choosing. My use of variegated floss was non-existent until a couple months ago, for the most part. And now what I've done is I just pick and choose colors I like, and then I pick and choose parts where I may throw them in a pattern, or I like them for monochromatics. That's my favorite use of them. Okay, closest to a finish. So this one, what project are you bringing to an end? What's coming to an end? Now, you do not have to finish it this month. I am going to finish this one because I think I'm going to make it my stitch a day until it's finished. And it's not that far. It's just I'm at the fiddly part, you know, at the end. But just look at your projects. Where is one? What's the one that if you looked at all of them, it would be closest to an end? And I do have a backup. So if I do finish this one, I know what I'm going to do next, because I wasn't really sure. I don't know. And then I haven't, yeah, I have quite a few that are getting towards a finish. This is Blue Dreams by Barbara Anna. And I started this, well, we have a hashtag, Stitch Barbara Anna, which is ongoing because her projects are awesome. I always want to have a Barbara Anna going. So if you want to join, you can always, you know, tag me if you put it somewhere, or use Stitch Barbara Anna. This is where I am. I mean, I'm very close. There's like I said, there's a lot of fiddly bits. So all the fish, I have to do like different parts of their eyes, and I haven't done up here very much with the clouds and kind of the birds. And she's all done. I think, yes, I think there's not even a little bit left to her. down here, and then we kind of go back and go bits and pieces. So a daily stitch for this, you know, I don't know if I will do 100 stitches a day or just kind of a couple strands a day, because there are small kind of fiddly bits. I might get frustrated with the 100 a day, because when there's that much confetti or whatever, I have a tendency to get a little grouchy. So I could use that for, makes me grouchy as well. If I finish that, I think I will do, and I didn't bring it, you've seen it recently, Long May She Wave. Actually, I just showed that, didn't I, this past week, I think, from Stitching with the Housewives. My version of it's a little bit scaled down. That's close to a finish, and we all know that Talk to Me Goose is very close to a finish. That will be finished this month as well, but I just chose this one because I think I'm not going to count that close, because none of them are digital. So I'm just kind of winging it and figuring out what, to me, seems the closest to a finish. Okay, next. This one, I had lots of choices, especially full coverage. Oh, there it is. Full coverage pieces, if they're colorful and bright, will work for this one. If you have something else that's colorful and bright, there's lots of options. Something that has all the colors of the rainbow. And I am a big fan of the Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet kind of rainbow sort of color. But you don't have to do that. I mean, I'm sure I could find indigo. I have all the other colors. I've always kind of wondered how indigo fit in, because you have the blue and you have the violet. So is indigo more bluish or more violetish? You know. Those are when you're up at 5 a.m. and you're thinking of things and your brain won't relax. But anyway, this is Sunflower. It's Mini Sunflower Cottage by Donna Gelsinger. And it is clearly a full coverage. I am a big fan. My fabric is organized by Roy G. Biv. My cardstock, I want to organize what I have of variegated flosses. That's going to be done in the kind of the Roy G. Biv look. So I'm always a fan of that. Here we go. This is where I am with this. This is an 18 count white Aida, and I stitch those 2 strands over 1 full cross. I've started a different full coverage rotation at the moment where I'll do 1,000 stitches on that one. I enjoyed my first day yesterday with it. You wouldn't have seen which one I chose. So we'll see. If I continue and I'm at 1,000, I may go more, but this one will definitely get work. This will be the next one after that one this month, I should say. This did get some work this year already, but, you know, obviously I want to do multiple times with my full coverages if possible. So that's what it looks like. Alrighty. Next, another pattern that I need to show you the digital version of, because I don't have a picture. And this, again, has a little bit different vibe than what this is showing, but I like it. It took me it was a long, hard road to get to the fabric that I was going to choose. So remind you of summer. Again, you could have a lot of the similar things on that. Well, first thing, when I said summer to myself, dandelions popped up. They literally do pop up, right? But, so this pattern here is actually called Dandelions by Owl Forest. And it had sat, I worked on it not that long ago, and it kind of ignited, kind of enjoying it. And, oh, that's the back. And me saying, you know what, I do like, what am I doing here? Here we go. I need to look at the picture for a second to get it right. That's what it looks like. So I actually, the last time I stitched this, I did get some more in. I have all the color. That's all the colors in there. Now I'm not using the Owl Forest variegated flosses, so mine will look slightly different. What's the fabric on this one? It's Twilight Mist 18 count from To Die For Fabrics. This color I'm a little unsure of. I mean, the version from Owl Forest is highly variegated, so it goes light to dark. But I do think there's a big centerpiece here in that color. I might stitch that and stitch the flowers around it Yeah, we don't have any of the flowers around it yet, and see how it looks. And if I'm really not loving it, then we'll think about pulling it out. But I think it'll be okay in the end. A lot of times, you know, once you put everything around it, then it definitely looks better. All right, two more. Something that is square. And you recently saw this, and I do want to keep this on rotation this summer to try to get some progress. This is Quaker Flag, whoops, by Vivsters. There is a stitch along with this one. Hashtag, I think it's 2024 Quaker Flag. If I know the challenge started in January, so if I go to my January stitch alongs, 2024 Quaker Flag, Sal. So that's what that looks like. Again, I'm not going with the kind of that brown vintage country mocha look. I'm going with, this is Brave Boromir by Those Missing Stitches, so more of a bluish gray. And there I am. So obviously all of these sections, so every single one of those motifs are in a square. And I actually may do some of the square stitching to get some more of those filled in. So then I can just jump to wherever I want for the motifs. So that's that one. And finally, last but not least, something you'd see while playing golf. Again, similar idea in the sense of, you know, maybe a garden or a picnic, but that's okay, right? You know, sometimes we don't need to make everything super, super difficult. I chose because you'll see birds, flowers, trees at a golf course when you're golfing, and it's Carolyn's Balloons Spring by Jan Hicks. So that's what that looks like. And let me show you where I am. And that's where it is. And I don't have the tag on this. I know it was a Fortnite Fabrics fabric, 18 count. I want to say something like car wash, but I do not remember the actual name of it. It was a fabric of the month several years ago. Well, a couple years ago. Several makes it sound like I've been stitching for like 20 years, and I stitched 30 years ago, but I only came back to it again in the end, fourth quarter of 2019. So that's where I am right there. I'm thinking I might, I did some work on this. I don't know if it was yesterday. So I got some of this in. I'm thinking I might actually go and do some of the trees and flowers here. There's the giant balloon right here, but I'm not sure which way I'm going to go on that. So that's that. So those are the 10 I have chosen for I Spy. Hopefully maybe my thought process will help you with some of the prompts if you're, you know, stuck on something. And you can always ask, if you're on Facebook, ask away. You know, there's so many great ideas that people have, and you can see maybe what other people are doing in the pictures, or, you know, just ask, and we'll try to help you. I don't know of all the challenges out there because I don't know all the different groups. I'm not part of all the different groups, but the ones that I am doing, crafts and books, Beth's acrostic is Solstice. Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, their acrostic is Float. I don't know the theme. I only do the acrostic in my book. I don't do the theme. And then I did look to see for categories in Whip Warriors, and it is the letter P is what came up. I didn't do categories this past month. I just wasn't feeling it, but I may jump in and do some of the letters for this month if I want to kind of see what I can do and challenge myself with that. And then there is a hashtag that I'm also participating for the month of June. It is hashtag June Dog, which is stitch any long dog sampler. It doesn't have to be a new start. It can be anything. And it doesn't have to be just one. I only own one, and I'm only stitching on one. So that will get stitching every single day in the month of June. There are a ton of other hashtags out there, and I'm sure there's others. The Wings of Change that I'm stitching, that hashtag, because we are stitching, there's multiple people of us stitching it, is Butterfly Wings Sal. So you're more than welcome to join on that. And, you know, there's a ton of them out there. So if there's something you wanted to do hashtag wise, and I know there's more challenges than that. So hopefully you're enjoying whatever challenges you choose to do. I'm enjoying I Spy, and I hope you are too. So I guess that's about it. Until next month with my I Spy prompts and projects, trying to say the 2 words at once. Have a great month of stitching. Bye.